It's the fourth Saturday of Lent. Hear these words from Mark chapter 8, verse 14 through 26. Jesus' disciples had forgotten to bring any bread, so they had only one loaf with them in the boat. He gave them strict orders. Watch out and be on your guard for the yeast of the Pharisees as well as the yeast of Herod. The disciples discussed this among themselves. He said this because we have no bread. Well, Jesus knew what they were discussing and said, "Why are you talking about the fact that you don't have any bread? Don't you grasp what has happened? Don't you understand? Are your hearts so resistant to what God is doing? Don't you have eyes? Why can't you see? Don't you have ears? Why can't you hear? Don't you remember? When I broke 5 loaves of bread for those 5,000 people, how many baskets full of leftovers did you gather?" They answered, 12. "And when I broke 7 loaves of bread for these 4,000 people, how many baskets full of leftovers did you gather?" They answered, 7. Jesus said to them, "And you still don't understand?" Jesus and the disciples came to Bethsaida. Some people brought a blind man to Jesus and begged him to touch and heal him. Taking the blind man's hand, Jesus led him out of the village. After spitting on his eyes and laying his hands on the man, he asked him, "Do you see anything?" The man looked up and said, "I see people. They look like trees, only they are walking around." Then Jesus placed his hands on the man's eyes again. He looked with his eyes wide open, his sight restored, and he could see everything clearly. Then Jesus sent him home, saying, "Don't go into the village.